Hello there, everyone. Welcome to a Facebook Live mine with Daryl Walter at Pickled Peppers Creative Cafe. My name is Daryl Walter again, and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you on Thursdays to do something crafty. So I am here today to get crafty with you. So welcome. Come on in. I see my friend Beth and Amy are watching. Hello. Hi there. Happy Thursday, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to be here with you again for another Crafty Thursday. So welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Today actually is, what is today? Today is February 10th. So we are getting towards the middle of February. I can't believe that the month is going so quickly. It is almost Valentine's Day and it's almost Super Bowl Sunday. If you are a football fan, then you are looking forward to the Super Bowl this Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to back and watch the commercials and watch the game. So I'm pretty excited about that. I see Anna's here and watching. Hi, Anna, welcome. I'm so excited that you're here. Come on in, let's get crafty. I'm going to go ahead and turn down. I have a couple of announcements for you. I have something fun and a little bit different for you tonight. It's actually been around for a little bit, but I don't know. I got the idea to share it with you, so I'm going to share it with you tonight. So let's go ahead and get turned down. I have a couple of announcements for you, and then we'll get started creating. I'll show you what we're going to be using, and we'll jump right in, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. How are you guys? How are you this Thursday? Hey, are you guys doing anything crafty? If you're doing crafty things, or if you've been crafty this week, why don't you let me know what you have done crafty? I love hearing about your crafty adventures. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I think, let's see. There we go. Let's make sure we're straight. I'll kind of use my book. You guys can tell me, give me a thumbs up if we're looking okay. I think, oh, this way. Okay, there we go. It's always so hard to tell. And the camera on the device, I think, is just a little off. So, all right, thank you guys so much for that. Amy, just worky work. Amy says just worky work. That's how my week has been too, just worky work. I didn't get as much crafty time in as I wanted to get this week, but that's okay. The weekend's coming, so we'll try and get it in then. Anyways, I am so excited that you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here today. The first announcement that I had for you is just a reminder that it is celebration time. I know I've reminded you of this the last couple of times, but celebration is going to be ending on February 28th. So if you wanted any free product for shopping, I just wanted to make sure that I reminded you that it's celebration time. And something else during celebration time, I think I've talked about it, but I want to make sure that I talk about it as well this time. And that is that if you purchase the starter kit during celebration, the starter kit, first of all, let me start by saying the starter kit is always a good deal. You get $125 worth of product for only $99, but also during celebration, you get 2 free stamp sets of your choice. So the starter kit is $125 worth of product, any product that you choose. So it's like creating your own sale. And then during celebration, like I said, you get the 2, your choice of 2 additional stamp sets. So it's a fantastic deal. Wanted to make sure that I mentioned that to you. So that's the first announcement that I had for you. Hi, Marie. How are you? Welcome. Welcome, welcome to Crafty Thursday. I'm super excited that you're here. Hi, have you been up to anything crafty? How are you? Let me know in the comments if you have. And then the other reminder that I had, or announcement reminder that I had for you, is just a reminder that tomorrow is the last day to sign up for monthly card class. So if you would like monthly card class and you haven't signed up yet, there's still time. The details are in the event section here on my business page, but with monthly card class, we make 8 cards, 2 each of 4 different designs. I do all of the cutting, all of the punch work and die cut work for you, and you even get the envelopes to mail your cards that you create with. Card class is always free with a qualifying purchase, which is $30. Otherwise, it's $25. And then we have class on Zoom and we chat and have fun. So yeah, if you're wanting monthly card class, you have until the end of the day tomorrow to sign up for that. All right. So I think you guys are going to be excited about this. I hope that you are excited about it. I'm excited about it. Let me tell you what we're going to be doing. I'm going to show you how to use these wonderful little things. Can you see what this is? Oh, let's get in focus here. So these are the mason jar shaker domes. Have you guys seen them? I'm going to show you how to make a simple, cute shaker dome card. And the fantastic thing about these is that the adhesive and everything is already there for you. So literally all you have to do is stick. So you see that? You get 10 of these little domes in a box. So, and I believe they're in our main catalog. Super, super fun. Let's go ahead and peel one out because we're going to be using it, but I'm going to show you how to use this. Now, that having been said, this mason jar pairs or coordinates with a punch. It coordinates with a punch and they work so lovely together. You see that? It's super, super simple. Like the card that we're going to make tonight, and I'll show it to you in just a moment, but you can do it in probably maybe 20 to 30 minutes or less. I think I probably did it in about 20 minutes or so. So let me show you the card. Oh, more importantly, let me tell you that these products actually coordinate with the Jar of Flowers stamp set. That having been said, notice that there are all images here. There are no sentiments, which is fine. You can totally make a card that doesn't have a sentiment on the front, but if you want a sentiment, then you'll need to also have a stamp set that has sentiments with it. And I have actually chosen a stamp set, a couple with sentiments, so I'll show you those in a bit here. But here is the card. Isn't this the cutest? You notice I use the little bee embellishment. I think this might be on clearance. In fact, I think I know it is, the little bees, but I like those as well. So Anna says she loves that stamp set. I love it too. Marie, you still have not, oh, Marie says, I still have not found mine. You haven't found your shaker domes? Oh my gosh. Well, this is going to make you want to find them. So let me tempt you. You see that? Cutest little card, so simple. Let me show you how we make it. If you notice the designer series paper, it is very lovely and stately. So it's the In Good Taste designer series paper, and they're wood grains. You guys know I love wood grain or different patterns here. I am a country girl at heart, so the wood grains always grab me, and these are darker. Some of them aren't. Like this is maybe, I don't know, is that tweed, you guys? I think that might be tweed. So there's tweed, and you know what this one reminds me of? When you were in elementary school and you got your pictures taken, everybody had this backdrop, right? Marie says, love it. Yes, Anna, I do love this stamp set. And I wanted to use the shaker dome, so I wanted to show you guys how to do that. How to do it. Oh, there's some with paint. These are just lovely, lovely papers. Lovely, lovely. I love them. Let's show you the reverse side. Let's go ahead and take them out. I always have such a challenge. I don't know why I don't just take them apart from the beginning, from the start, and that way I can show you what is there. So they're like fabric patterns, just different abstract looking patterns, and I like them. So I just pulled a wood grain out, and that's what we're using. Let me go ahead and set this aside until later. I'll put it back together. And if you guys noticed, I did also use on this card. Now, first of all, let me say that there are, and I'm going to show you this as well at the end after we're done creating our card. I'll show you one that I made with the flowers that coordinate with the jar as well. So there are flowers here, but if you noticed, I did a little bit of cheating, and that's because I wanted to make a card with a more simple approach that didn't require a ton of stamping. So I am using one of my favorite punches, which is the medium daisy punch. And we have a large, let me show you the large daisy punch. If you stamp with me, you already know how much I love the daisy punches and how much I use them. Background for school pictures, yes. I think every school picture had that pattern. Well, I thought I had the large daisy punch handy, but it doesn't look like I do. But anyways, we have a larger daisy punch I wanted to show you. And then this is the medium one, so it makes the medium flowers. And then I have, of course, the shaker dome. I have an early espresso card base that I have cut. It's a full sheet of cardstock that's early espresso. I cut it the long way at 4.5 and scored it at 4 1/4. I misspoke, and scored it at 5.5. That's where our fold is going to be. And then I have our designer series paper, which is 5 1/4 by 4. I have Very Vanilla here, 5 1/4 by 4. This is for the inside of our card because the card is so dark to stamp or write on the inside. We need a lighter color so we can see it right. And then I have a piece of 3 by 3 Very Vanilla. We're going to stamp on that. And then I have some scrap here. This is Garden Green, and we're going to use that for the inside of our flowers, and then our sentiment and whatever else we need. And then we have some Daffodil Delight scrap for our flowers. All right, why don't we go ahead and punch our flowers since we have this out. I'm going to use 4 of them. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we can put our scrap aside. And why don't we go ahead and adhere our flowers? We can put the punch right away too. Well, I have we don't carry this any longer, but it's a 1/2 inch circle punch. If you don't have one and you have flowers, especially either one of the daisy punches, then I recommend a 1/2 inch circle punch. Very versatile. You'll use it a lot, I promise. Okay, so let's put this aside. I hope one day we bring it back and bring the circle punches back. I love punches. When I am in the mood to make really quick and simple cards, the punches are so easy and direct. You just punch them out and go. All right, so we're going to start. I'm going to scoot this over a little bit because I don't want to get it messy. In fact, I think I'm going to bring my Stampin' Pierce mat in. I have a little bit of scrap of grid paper here just in case I make a mess, but I'm going to try not to. And I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue here. I'm going to stack 2 flowers on top of each other, and I'm just going to put a little bitty dot of liquid glue there in the center. put the lid back on it. And then I'm going to put the second flower on top to add some fullness to that daisy. And while I'm doing that, I want to stagger it so the open space there gets filled in. Did you see what I did there? And we'll do it again here. Whoops, I don't want that sticking to my finger. There we go. And then using the liquid glue again, I'm going to put just another little dollop and we'll add our center. And then we'll set our flowers aside until we're ready for them in a little bit. We want to get to that shaker dome. I want to show you how to use the shaker dome. All right, let's put these aside to dry. So we did those first intentionally, so they have a little bit of time to dry. All right, so let's get to the card making. The first thing I'm going to do is, you guessed it, I'm going to grab my bone folder and give the cardstock a nice good crease, because we like for the card to fold and lay flatly, just like the other guys in the store on the shelf, except ours are better. Handmade cards are much better anytime. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to, let's do some stamping. Let's do some stamping next. So I have a 3x3 square of the Very Vanilla, and this is where we're going to stamp our stems. If you looked in the jar, there are stems there. This time we're going to put a little water in it too. We're going to put a little water and see how that works. But the stems are in the jar, so we're going to stamp the stems, put a little water in, and then we'll do a little punching and assembly. All right. Now this stamp set is photopolymer. That means that it's clear, and because it's clear, unlike your red rubber stamps, there is no cushion to them, and having a little bit of cushion when you stamp makes for a good image. And open the stamp set here so I can show you what I mean. So because of that, I've already mounted our stems, but I wanted to show you what they look like. Because of that, we're going to be stamping on our Stampin' Pierce mat. Here are our stems. I've already got them on the block. And we're going to use Garden Green ink for the stems. Now, when I stamp the stems, remember this is a 3x3 square. I'm going to go slightly lower than the center, but you could go in the center too. Let's ink it up, and I'm going to go just slightly lower than the center, but right in the center there, we'll stamp our stem. So that's the first stamp that we have to make. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put a jar around the stem. So I kind of feel more secure stamping the stems first and then placing the jar. I feel like I'm more confident that I'll get the placement right that way. But you could do it either way. If you're more confident that you'll get the placement right with the stems after the jar, then you could do that too. I'm using Early Espresso ink because it matches the card base. So the jar is going to be Early Espresso, and I'm going to just kind of hover over, and I want to try and get the top or the bottom of the lid near the top of the stem. There we go. And it doesn't have to, it's very forgiving, so it doesn't have to be exact. Don't worry about it if you don't get it exactly on. I think it looks good like that too. All right, so remember this time we're going to add some water. And let me tell you, these stamps are reversible. So you'll notice that there is a full jar and then there is a little half. The way that we're going to get the water is we're going to give it a half jar of water. We're going to take this half. It is actually one stamp. You flip it over. So it pulls double duty. There's a side with texture or an impression on it, and then the other side is just flat. So we're going to grab a block here and place this down. So again, the side with the, I don't know what you want to call the little impressions on it, that side is going to go down. And then I'm going to bring in Coastal Cabana. I want my water to look a little not so blue. So I'm going to ink it up, and then I'm going to stamp once so I take away some of the extra. That didn't stamp very good. I'm not happy with that. So let's try it again. And let's try to take off some of the excess. That looks good. And then I'm going to go right on the bottom of the jar. Can you see that? Right on the bottom of the jar. And voila, look at that. Perfecto. Let me show you what we have now. So you see how that worked? So we have water in our jar here. All right, so now we'll talk about making the shaker. So let's go ahead and put this aside for a moment. And I'm going to bring in the Designer Series paper. We need to punch the jar out. The beautiful thing about this is when you insert your Designer Series paper into the punch for this particular card, the only thing that you need to worry about is that you have somewhat of an even margin on both sides. We're going to slide the paper all the way to the back of the punch until it stops, just like that. And then once it stops and you're hitting the back of the punch, that's exactly where you want to punch. So the thing that you're going to make sure of is that you kind of get it even on both sides because you want it to be centered, right? So let's go ahead and punch. There we go. See how technical that was? Not very, huh? There we go. So this is what we want. I think we're done with that punch, but we're going to keep it close because you don't know me. I do things sometimes that I don't want to do. And you know, you could also, if you wanted to, I like to have my stems, I don't necessarily want them colored in because then I think the detail is a little bit harder to see. So I didn't color my stems in, but you could totally, if you wanted to, you could use watercolor pencils, or you could use Stampin' Blends or Stampin' Write markers, or some way to color them in. All right, so now we have this. Let's go ahead and bring in our shaker dome, because this is the point that we want to add our dome. So let me tell you that the dome has adhesive on both sides. There's adhesive on this side, and then there's also adhesive on this side. So we're going to start by adding or removing the adhesive on the back side because we want to cover our jar, right? Or we're adding the jar. We want to cover our stamp. We have to contain our water. So let's go ahead and remove the backing. I'm just using an X-Acto blade. You could use your take your pick tool if you have that. Mine is floating around here someplace. All right, so we're going to leave the adhesive on this part. And then we'll just kind of hover over our stamped image. And whoops. Let's try that again. and place it down. And then I'm going to just press it down a little bit. So this is what we have so far. The next thing we're going to do is take our piece of designer series paper and we're going to place it right over the jar. And then we'll have our jar on our wall, on our wooden wall, our paneled wall, right? Okay. The most important thing to do before we do this, one, is to remove the adhesive, right? We need to have it adhered. However, we also want to go ahead and add the adhesive that we're going to need at this point to add our designer series paper mat to the front of our card. It's kind of hard to do after you've already put the shaker dome onto the designer series paper. So let's go ahead and bring in some adhesive, and we're going to add it at this point. I'm going to go around all of the edges, which sometimes I don't do. You know what I forgot to tell you as well? If you wanted to, you could totally add sequins or beads or some other embellishment right to your jar before you stick it down. You could totally do that, and you would just add whatever you wanted in there. But you don't have to add anything. You can just have the stamping like I've done here. All right, now let's go ahead and peel the adhesive off of the front part of our shaker dome. Let's see, grab it from the back side. There we go. Okay. And then I don't want to stick this down here. So I'm going to kind of hold it in my hand and pop the jar right through. And just like we did with the back side of it, I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of burnish it. Right? And then we can go ahead and add it right to our card base. Since we already have the adhesive on, we don't want to sit it down and take the chance of it getting stuck to something that we don't want it to be stuck to, right? Ask me how I know, and maybe later I'll tell you. I'll give you the answer to that. All right, here's the card base. I don't know, I'm loving that water in there. Okay. Let's see. We have the flowers. Let's go ahead and add our flowers. We're going to add the flowers that we assembled earlier using Stampin' Dimensionals. You wouldn't have to use them on both if you didn't want to. And if you notice, I am kind of letting the petals of the flower bend over the jar a little bit. And you can place them wherever you'd like, but this is where I like them. So let's go ahead and bring in Stampin' Dimensionals. And we'll pop one on the back here. We'll pop another here. You could totally put more flowers here as well if you wanted to. Okay, so I am letting the petals just kind of hang ever so slightly over the jar. And you could actually bend your petals forward if you wanted to give them a little more dimension, make them look a little more realistic. You could curl them, but I don't want them curled. But I like them kind of willy-nilly like that. And then we'll go ahead and do the same with the second flower and just on the side here. All right, we're done with the Stampin' Dimensionals. Next, let's go ahead and let's give the ribbon. I'm actually using the seam binding. It's the crinkled seam binding ribbon. It's white. It's kind of thin, so it's not stiff, so it doesn't necessarily stay the same shape when you tie it. It's loose, if you will. It's very soft. It's seam binding. And I'm just going to tie a little bow here. Okay, that's not too shabby. I hope. Not too shabby. I'll make it a little bit smaller. Uh-oh, I hope I didn't brag on myself too soon. There we go. Just want the loops a little bit smaller. There we go. Grab a pair of scissors and trim the ends here. I don't want them too extra long. Okay. And then I'm gonna add this right to the top of the jar. I'm going to use mini glue dots. So let's grab our mini glue dots and find one. Just kind of peel this back and pick up a glue dot by pressing the knot on the bow right on the glue dot, and it should lift right off. And then I will add it right to the front of our jar. Isn't that the cutest? I like it. Okay, here's what we have so far. Can you see how it's coming together? Isn't that an easy way to use those shaker domes? It looks intimidating. It's really not. Super, super simple to do. Let's put this aside. All right, so let's go ahead and find our scrap for the sentiment. And the sentiment I'm using is from Sweet Strawberry. Yeah, Sweet Strawberry. So here's the Sweet Strawberry. I grabbed the hello there sentiment because that's what I wanted to say for this flower. So, oh, I got it here, the hello there. And I'm going to stamp the hello there with Early Espresso. This is a piece of Very Vanilla, and it is 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to kind of stamp it in the center there. Let's close our ink. And then I'm going to take my scissors. Let's find some snips. And I'm going to make it a banner. The way I'm going to do that is right in the center here. I'm going to put a little snip. And then I'm going to go from the corner here to the top of the little snip that I just made. And then I'm going to flip it right over and do the same thing. I'm going to go from the corner to the top of the little snip that I made. And there we go. We have a banner. And then I'm just going to take a little bit off the other side. You could do it if you wanted to do this with your Stampin' Trimmer. You could totally do that. I am confident using my scissors to do it. So, all right, and let's add a little bit of adhesive to our sentiment. Pop that right down. And then, you know what? I put away the mini glue dots, but we're going to need them because the bumblebee trinkets, we're going to add a couple of those. Let's open up here. Oh, there we go. I heard it pop. And we'll just grab a couple of the bumblebees. I love these bumblebees, and they look really, really good against the In Good Taste Designer Series paper. So we'll just make our bumblebees flutter around. So we'll grab a glue dot, a mini glue dot, press the bee right to it, pull it off and pop him down. We'll do the same with the other. Let's make them kind of buzz around. And there we have it. Oh, you ordered the brass butterflies. But Marie says she ordered the brass butterfly embellishments, and they are so cute. I love them. I think I just ordered a second set, and the brass butterfly embellishments would look equally as charming as the bumblebee does there. So finally, to finish our card, remember earlier I said when you are making cards that are darker in color, you want a matte on the inside so you can stamp your sentiment or make a handwritten note if you want to. I like to wait until later to stamp the sentiment. So in case I decide to change my mind about the use of the card or the reason that I'm giving it, it allows me the freedom to do that. So I'm not going to, let's move this out of the way. I'm not going to add a sentiment, but you would want to, if you know what sentiment you are using, you would want to add it before adhering the mat to the inside. I'm okay with stamping later, but you can totally do as well because the whole layer here is flat in this case and in most cases. And there we have it. Isn't that cute? What do you guys think about the shaker dome? Super simple, right? Super, super simple. Thank you so much for the hearts and the likes. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciate it. That makes my heart happy. It makes my heart happy, and it makes me want to get done with my life and start creating for the next one. I love coming and crafting with you guys. So here it is. Now let me show you. I made a couple of other cards using the shaker dome, and the first one I told you I would show you how I used the flowers that come in this stamp set. So here's one that I made using the the Honeybee Home. That's not the exact name of the designer series paper, but it's wood grain. And I stamped right on the wood grain and colored the flowers in with my blends. Can you see that? Let's get back in screen here. There you go. And the same here. I didn't color the stems in, and I didn't add any, but an afterthought was I could have put sequins in there. That would have looked really cool, I think. And then I also, because I was using the strawberry, I pulled it out for the sentiment. I thought that I would use the strawberries as well. And if you look closely, the flower that's in the strawberries, I just punched several of them out and added them to the jar. I also added a straw. That's what this thing is. Thank you, Marisa. Super cute. So isn't that cute? There are 3 different ways. So you could use anything that you wanted to put in a jar or that would go in a mason jar. Any stamp set that you have that would coordinate with that, you can totally do that. And there's our first one. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so that is what I had to share with you tonight. Remember, if you like anything that I used tonight, you can find it in my online store. If it inspired you, let's go ahead and turn up so we can see. Hello. And a link to the store will be in the description above. So that's what I had to share with you tonight. Thank you guys so much for allowing me into your lives and allowing me to create with you and share with you, and for inspiring me to be creative. I appreciate you guys so much. I know I say that a lot, but I don't take you for granted, and I do appreciate you um, showing up to create with me. So thank you guys so very much. Remember that registration closes for card class tomorrow. And remember also that it is celebration time. My catalog is somewhere here. It's celebration time. So earn free product just for shopping. And if you find that you're shopping enough and you're close to the starter kit price, then it might be worth it just to purchase the starter kit. Fill your cart up with whatever you would like, $125 worth, and get the 2 extra stamp sets. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. I will see you next week here with more creative projects on Thursday, God willing, at 7:15ish p.m. In the meantime, you guys have a fantastic weekend. Lots of creating done. If you watch football, we'll talk about the Super Bowl. See you guys. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.